Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. Today, I'm alone and I'll be discussing the second season of Helluva Boss. Okay, so it's been 12 days since our last episode. At least recording right now. Shit. Hopefully nothing bad happened by me not having the right internet. This is just a normal recording device, so hopefully it doesn't like any recording app, so hopefully it has nothing to do with internet, but I don't know. It's weird like that. But anyways, no episode in 12 days. I'm done saying like, oh, I'm sorry for not uploading an episode in like fucking forever. At this point, just expect that. Hopefully we get back to what I want the schedule to fucking be, which hasn't happened since January. But yeah, I don't expect all the April episodes that I wanted to because this episode was supposed to come out in March. Anyways, so yeah, hopefully we get back on track in summer with all the fucking episodes I want to do because there's a fucking ton of them. We are 12 episodes behind, and probably will be like behind the entire month of April, at least some parts of April. Hopefully not too far into May. I just really fucking hope that I get all these episodes out soon. Because goddamn, this is gonna fucking suck. But yes, I have to binge watch a lot of shit, and I think I mentioned it here and there. I do not like to fucking binge watch. Which is what happened with Helluva Boss. Surprisingly, I actually managed to finish Helluva Boss in quite a little bit of time. So, Helluva Boss, we haven't talked about it in fucking forever. This is the... No, it's not. I was about to say, this is the second time... I mean, yeah. This is the second time we've talked about Helluva Boss. I don't think I've uploaded the episode, like the actual episode on Helluva Boss Season 1 here on YouTube. But we did talk about it almost 3 years ago. When I found out that the first season concluded officially with the 7th episode of the first season, which was Aussies. And we reviewed it then and there because I was under the impression that the the 8th episode was going to be released as either part of season 2 or as its own separate special that we would cover in the season 2 episode, and that season 2 was moving forward with episode 1. That didn't happen, apparently. Not apparently because I was there watching episode 8 when that came out, but what actually happened was that episode 8 was released independently from season 2. In the between episode 4 and 5, episode 8 of season 1 released, and that was the finale of season 1 released in the middle, like near the middle of season 2. What the fuck? And apparently, what really happened in that sort of scenario, what happened was that there was some copyright issues with the, I'm guessing with having Kesha in the show, and Spin the Horse not having the rights to her voice, her vocals, but having her be a voice actor, so they had to compromise. In some with using another vocalist for the song that Kesha was supposed to sing. I'm guessing that's what it's supposed to be. But yeah, the last episode of season 1 released in 2023. I think it is 2023. And yeah, no. Season 2 started airing, not airing, quotations airing, on July 30th, 2022, and it finished finally on December 21st, 2024. Now, some history with both this and I'm gonna finish off with say episode 8. We're gonna cover episode 8 here. Since, well, I didn't know this was supposed to be the fucking direction they were going for, but okay, fine. And oh yeah, and apparently episode 8 was also like delayed indefinitely because it was not important to the overall plot. What the fuck? And that turned out to be false because it was an introduction of a very quote unquote big character in the show, even though that character kind of does nothing. But yeah, I don't know. It's something. It's something that was something. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't just delay season 2 until they could have and prioritized getting everything done for the episode 8. That's again. I mentioned this before, or like in private, or maybe even on the podcast. I don't fucking know. That this is not how you handle a fucking show. That is not how you do it. I'm gonna get into it. Like I mentioned, this was like a fucking weird ass thing. But X-Men 97 episode X-Men the animated series. We're going to season 3. I've not watched season 3, but I know that season 3 released out of order thanks to a lot of animation errors being present in the season. So they sort of scrambled between all season 4 and 5 and all that shit and kind of put it all sort of together. Not together, but like released a lot of those episodes early. Again, not how you do a series. Doesn't compensate by releasing season 4 early, which I think they should have prioritized on making season 3, like finishing up season 3, and touching it up instead of just going straight to season 4. I think it would have been preferred, but yeah, here I would have said the same thing, especially since it's only one episode that they had to worry about. But that wasn't the case. They sort of immediately went into doing. They immediately went into doing season 2, and yeah, that's why this. That's why season 2 came out in 2022 and the episode in 2023. I don't count it just for the sake of being simple. I don't count it, but I'm gonna count it here. Anyways, history time with the fucking series. So, Helluva Boss, I've been following pretty much since the original pilot came out, which I recently found out. I might have found out some other fucking time ago. I don't fucking know. That the pilot for the show is not canon. I don't know why it's not. I don't know if that that conflicts with anything in the show. I don't think it does. But yeah, that's certainly a thing. And yeah, I've been following it since pretty much when it came out. 2019 was it? I don't fucking remember. I think it was 2019. And I've been watching every episode since around the time, either around the time or when they come out. Every single one of them. I wouldn't call myself a fan of Helluva Boss, but I've been following it for a very, very long time. And season 2 was a bit weird for me because I did not watch episodes 10, 11, and 12 when they came out. I rewatched episodes 1 to 9 because I knew I watched those. I rewatched those episodes completely. And then I pretty much went to straight new territory when it came to episodes 10, 11, and 12. So, yeah, it was new territory for me. Again, we covered it a while ago, and we also covered Hazbin Hotel when it finished, not when finished airing, but last year we covered Hazbin Hotel, me and Travy. So that's on YouTube. That is one that's on YouTube. So you want to go check that out? That is out there. And also, This is episode 420. I was originally gonna make a joke that I was gonna be high this entire episode, but I forgot. So yeah. Anyways, back to Helluva Boss. Um, I thought, or I just remember, it was Dragon and I in that episode, and I thought the Helluva Boss season 1 was actually pretty solid. Wasn't the best thing ever. Had a lot of its flaws. I think the main flaws that I had with season 1 were that it didn't know what it wanted to be. Season 1 was definitely in this weird corner, and this weird, like, I don't know, like this weird crossroads, like this weird. It had like a lot of forks in its road that it wanted to go in, like new all the like various directions it wanted to go in, and I am not sure if it really landed a lot of them. For example, this story, this show and its pilot and a lot of its early episodes were billed as a sort of I don't know if I call it an anthology, but definitely it was going to be focusing on IMP going to the human world and killing people and finding a bunch of different stuff. It revealed its true colors as a series about the relationship between Blitz and Stolas, and how other people have looked down upon that. Looked down on Stolas and like the class disparity between the difference between them in class and rank in demon society, and sort of all that shit, and how it has affected Stolas' life, and how this decision that Blitz, the deal that Blitz and Stolas had affected both of their lives and everyone's lives around them. I have my thoughts that I just fucking realized, but we'll get into that. I don't know, like I appreciate stories taking some weird ass decisions and going in different directions, and then when you're supposed to, and then when you think it's going to go in. But I feel like what this show really lacked, at least for season 1, was that it lacked cohesion. We didn't get a lot of stuff in every department. It wanted to be both this fun, but this mature take on a lot of these mature themes, while having this sort of fun side thing about it being about like a bunch of mercenaries killing humans and sending them to hell. And that was definitely very apparent. A lot of they brought in a lot of different things in season 1 that went nowhere, but I feel like they sort of built upon that plot in a pretty well handled way. I just think that they had a little bit too much decisions, like Spin the Horse and Vizzy Pop, that had too much things that they wanted to add to the plot, to the whole world of Helluva Boss, and it fell apart quite a bit, especially since this show is kind of meant to be a companion piece to Hazbin Hotel, where Hazbin Hotel is almost entirely focusing on the Pride Ring. This is supposed to be a companion piece showing off the other sides of Hell, and in that way I can appreciate the political plot, the political, I don't know if a thriller plot, but definitely the tragedy that the show presents in the political sense of how we see the society of Hell, especially in the ring, that there's no sinners, and that would have been interesting. But I feel like in this show they didn't really explore that, and season 1 didn't really explore that, and season 2 it's a lot more explored. It's shown more, to be precise. It's shown more. So let's get into that. I don't know if I said it here or outside of the podcast, but I know I definitely said it here. I said that the first 6 episodes of Helluva Boss season 2 were among the worst things I've ever watched on this fucking planet. I said that after after episode 7. Was it episode 7? I don't know. What was episode 5? Where is like a good tab I can use? All right. No. There we go. All right. So that was in hindsight after watching. Can I go there? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh no, yeah, okay. Yeah, I called these 6 episodes the worst thing I've ever watched ever, and they're up there. I want to say they're up there, but yeah. And that was like after I think episode 8 came out that I called it that, and that's mainly because we'll get into that. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself, but yeah, let's see if my thoughts on that reign true. So, yeah, let's get into it. First up, what we always start off with, the animation and action. There's not a lot of action in this in this one. At least I don't remember there being a lot of action. No, there is. There's a whole episode with it being like in the man in like a haunted hotel thing. There's action in this show. I think it's fine. It's nothing groundbreaking. Obviously, there's the big fight scene in the final episode where we see where we see like Andralphus and IMP get into a fight and all that stuff. That's there. That is there. And yeah, no, it's not the best action ever, and especially with what the animation quality. So it's not like the animation in this show isn't bad. I just think it's rather inconsistent in its art style. Sometimes it's pretty simple, sometimes very complex. Sometimes the demons have glowy eyes, sometimes they don't. I don't. It's very inconsistent. It's it's fine. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's fine. Really, I don't really care all that much about like like, this hasn't changed. It hasn't changed after season 2. It really it really like just it didn't like it didn't downgrade, it didn't upgrade, it just kind of stayed the same. And yeah, no, there's not much more to say. Anything that I said about the animation, and I didn't say shit about it since I did not discuss that in the season 1 episode. But like it's essentially the art style. Like anything I said about the animation in Hazbin Hotel is true here. Like it's the exact same, probably my exact same thoughts and stuff. Whatever's because there is here. And that says a lot about Hazbin Hotel when I think that like a YouTube series has the same quality as a series that is meant for like I don't know if a premium series, but something that is, I don't know, like meant. Where is it? Here we go. A series that is meant to like be on streaming, that be paid, that you have to pay to see, you know? There's just a lot about that kind of animation. But yeah, it's the exact same. Any problems that I have with this, it's in it's in those episodes. It's in that episode. I think that this animation style is like, I think, just pretty bland. There are some shots. There's some cool like moments here and there where they sort of pan the camera around and it looks pretty fluid. But in reality, that's like the only thing that they do that's like not completely bland. And yeah, but just sometimes the animation is kind of like this bland, sort of matte style. And then it has like, and sometimes it has shading and glowing parts and shit. It's rather inconsistent. But overall, like the action stuff stays pretty consistent. That's never any flashy or anything. It's just kind of it's in like the sort of matte style of look that the show adopts a lot. It has a lot of. But sometimes it looks very good, especially for a 2D animated a YouTube series, you know, just like kind of funded by the fans of all that stuff. So I got and all the merch sales, and like, I don't know if they have a Patreon, probably not. But also from their very big Amazon deal, and also the fact that we are getting seasons 1, 2, that we're getting 3 more fucking Hazbin Hotel seasons. God fucking damn it. Yeah. That's just yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's just kind of, for me at least, like the general look of the show is kind of bland. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes it looks very good. Most of the times it doesn't, to be completely frank. Yeah. That's all I can say about the animation and action. Let's move on to the big part, the real big part of the fucking show, the characters. So season 2 added a lot of stuff to a lot of characters, has a lot of characters. I'll talk about the problems of that later, but yeah. Let's talk about Blitz first. Okay. Buckle in, everybody. All right, Blitz is an interesting case. This show. So a lot of episodes are dedicated to him, and I, for one, like what they tried to do with Blitz. It's just kind of not handled well at all. I like the attempt, but the thing is that I can't give points for trying something. It's more doing something. I like, they sort of present Blitz as this asshole that, like, very flawed guy that doesn't like relationships all that much, and sort of grows to appreciate. I like that what they wanted to do with the character. It's just not handled well. I think Apology Tour is their best attempt at doing it, because obviously the show, like the episode whole about like, oh, him learning about like just letting people be happy, and like him like and whatever the fuck, and him doing all these half-ass apologies, and him like sort of like learning that people fucking hate him and how to change. However, I think my main gripes is that, like, this is like, I guess I'll talk about this more on Stolas' side, but the fact is that there is like almost like there's almost no change between what we see in episodes in those episodes of him actually having like character arc and such, to what we see in episode 8 with him being all sort of accepting of like having a relationship with Stolas and shit. and all that stuff. Again, I like that he like takes like Stolos' like proposal of like of trying to be like of actually making the relationship official and him not like trusting it or anything because he's been kind of fucked over in the past and stuff. So yeah, and we see that we see that, and I appreciate the attempt. I just think that the show, I don't know, doesn't try, it doesn't develop it enough for it to make a notice like the impact that it would normally have. I normally should have, and especially God fucking man, especially since most of the show is spent not doing that. Again, they my big problem with episodes 1 to 6. Uh, Most of the show, and like 7 and such, is mostly spent not developing this. So they have to essentially do it in 6 episodes, which fine, yeah, I get it, but that's not what happens. They essentially do it in 3. But Full Moon doesn't really focus on that. Um, it's mostly fucking cherubs and shit. I'll talk about that later. Apollo Tour is, I think, the best episode of the season, but what it does is retroactively taken away pretty much since it's the 9th episode, so there's not much development to have afterwards. I think Apollo Tour would have worked better as the 6th, as like the mid-season. The mid-season episode. The tides are turning and we get all this development, but no, that's not what happens. Like this, so there's enough time to develop that further. You know? That's what I feel here. You know, I feel like that could have worked. He gives out apologies in Apollo Tour, and we see sort of like all that stuff going on, but that's not what happens. Again, it's episode 9, so yeah, we really go to go to the 8th episode, where it's where it's him like, oh, like Blitz, you make like Millie and Blix having that sort of have that heart to heart moment and all that stuff. But again, that's not like really what, like, that's not, I don't know. It's, to me, we didn't see enough change with Blix again, fucking hell, Blitz, to really warrant what we got in episodes 11 and 12. Since it's again one episode, then we get some development that Blitz changed the Blitz changed Millie's life for the better, like everyone's life for the better, not everyone's life for the better, like Millie's life for the better, and then we're immediately to him already being like open to having a relationship with Stolas. Like I don't know, it's I don't know, it's not, I don't know, I don't think that should have happened. That's not, again, if there was just more time given to the actual plot line, it would have looked better, but that's clearly not the case. That's not what happened. But yeah, I like what they wanted to do with Blix. Blix again, fucking hell, Blitz. Fuck. But again, episodes 1 to 6 are spent not developing that at all, except for the relationship between Blitz and Fizzaroli, which we see sort of, but that doesn't really tie into what happens in Full Moon, because Full Moon's when he realizes that he's not a fucking asshole. Apologies for. So he rekindles a friendship, doesn't really learn that he can be like not an asshole. Then he realizes, oh, I'm actually an asshole in episode 9. Again, there is like a complete. There is a complete, like, just nothing here. Like, so Blitz learns, like, oh, like, Blitz forgives, or like, not even forgives, but like, he has a heart to heart with Fizzarali, and then, like, and then he learns he's an asshole. I guess. I guess it could work. But at that point, he's like still very closed off about his emotions and stuff. So I don't know. To me, eh. Like I don't know. I don't think Blitz and Fizzarali's rekindling of their friendship is really like the big plot point that busy, like, or at least the writers think it is. Oh, I mean, yeah, busy. She wrote episode 6. Uh, she wrote a lot of episodes. I can tell fucking Ghost Fuckers was written by Brandon Rogers. That is a full on Brandon Rogers skit. Yeah, no. Just, yeah. Blitz just wasn't. I don't think he was handled very well, sadly. Oh God! Never let Adam Naylan write anything ever again. He wrote. I mean, that makes sense. He wrote episode 2. No fucking way. That's like the second best episode of the season. I'm talking about what we see in uh, Unhappy Campers, which is the worst. I think one of the worst episodes of this season. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, no, just Blitz is a lot of wasted potential. Let's move on to, I think, the most egregious character that we've seen so far, Stolas. Now, Stolas is definitely an interesting character to talk about. Uh, he's, I don't know, like, it's such a weird thing to talk about Stolas because he is, without a doubt, the worst written character in this show. Not because he is terrible. He's not because the writers are incompetent and can't write his story. Rather, he is painted as a good guy when there should be a lot more nuance in this show when it comes to Stolas. This show really, really likes to paint Blitz as an asshole. And I like that we have this complex character that is not entirely, like, good. He's not. He's an ass to people, and he's a dick. I can divide with that with as a protagonist. It's an interesting part of a protagonist. However, with Stolas, he is written in a way that, I don't know, just doesn't work. That's like the best way I can put it. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So, Stolas, again, painted as a hero, but what, again, as a good guy. And again, like, what they were going for the character is at least somewhat interesting, where he was forced into a marriage that he didn't want to be in, and somebody that he wasn't attracted to. He is not attracted to women, at least from what I can gather from the show. And instead, what? Instead of sort of treating the character of nuance, it's it's instead. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he's a character that doesn't like he's in a relationship. He's an arranged marriage. He doesn't want to be in, and instead he cheats on his wife with Blitz, and that is the whole main problem of the show, which again isn't touched upon season one, which is a knock in season one, to be completely honest. But season two is somewhat worse because season two is much more involved with this sort of plot line, and we do not see Stolas have any repercussions. We only see him as this fucking sad guy that all he wants is to be free of this terrible marriage that he was obviously he was arranged to, and again, good character again, good character story, good character narrative. However, how they handle it is that he cheated, and it's viewed like he's in the right. That he didn't just sort of ruin everything he had and ruin the relationship with everybody. We focused on Octavia, but we don't see him have any repercussions within that. And the thing is that it's how everyone is written around him. We are meant to see. The writers are desperate for us to see Stolas as a good guy, that they paint everyone around him as a bad guy. Stella is... I'm talking about Stella. I guess I'll talk about Stella now. I was never going to talk about it in the other section, but I'll talk about Stella now because she's very important to Stolas' whole character arc. At least what happens with Stolas. Is that Stella is comically evil. I think if Stella was handled with a little bit more nuance, like how Blix's story is handled, with us seeing the different effects that he has had on people, which was happened to fucking Stolas. Like, I gotta give Blitz's story points with that. It handled Stolas' it handled what happened what happened to Stolas. It handled it. Like, I'm not saying it handled it well because it didn't go anywhere, but it handled it. Like, it touched on that. Stolas' story of Stella, they paint Stella as this comically evil person that just wants to see Stolas fall because of the very, again, the very real reason that Stolas cheated on her. But since we are meant to see her as the villain, and Stolas as a good guy who did nothing wrong, that just isn't how the show is written. That's just not how the character is written, and not how the show presents its character, not how the writers present its character. So Stolas suffers from that because we should have seen Stolas be absolutely hammered upon in this show. We should have seen Stolas get the blunt end of the hammer when it comes to the show, but it's just not how the character is handled. So when you really look at the character, you see like, wow, this guy's this guy just ruined everyone's lives, doesn't really fucking care because he just wants to be with Blitz. And the show touches upon that, but it is meant to be a sad thing. We are meant to feel sad for Stolas. When I think what's best for these characters is that we see them and we say, yeah, that's what you needed. This is like exactly what you needed to grow as a person. But instead, we don't see that because everyone around Stolas is painted as being in the wrong and him being in the right. Even though he did want to get out of that relationship, but even then, there was already plans of having a divorce, and again, also the divorce went fucking nowhere. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Stolas is very much handled poorly, especially when he's one of the main parts of the show and where the story wants to go with this character and how important this character is to the story and how they present it along and how big of a fucking character of a character is supposed to be. Just handled like nothing, really. Just really, really handled like nothing. So yeah, I think Stolas is one of the worst written characters in the show because I feel like you should have been rooting against him. He's presented as this, not I don't know, noble prince, but definitely is this sort of person who we're supposed to be viewing in the right. When the show would have benefited a lot more of us seeing how shitty Stolas also was. You know, like just seeing that Stolas is very shitty and how it would have affected his family. I sincerely think that Stella should have been written in a completely different way. I think Stella should have been written. I don't know. I think it's very controversial. I don't know if this is very controversial, but I think Stella should have been written as a loving mother that is very heartbroken about Stolas' decision, and we see that. But she gets pissed. She gets fucking pissed. So we can understand where Stella's coming from, and also having all these like very like heartful moments and all that stuff. Maybe in that scenario, maybe like that, and we see how Stolas really fucked it all up in the search, trying to search for the happiness. Not saying that they shouldn't have, but like maybe seeing how Stella maybe would have supported him and all that stuff. I don't know. I think these characters should have been written with more nuance that we really got in this show. I think Stella been written completely differently. Should have worked. Not having her as a fucking completely fucking Disney villain, pretty much comically evil villain. Having her as more realistic, maybe angry, but also kind of maybe mad at Stolas for not really telling her. I don't know. Just anything more, just like anything to really hammer in that Stolas fucked up. You know, that he's also kind of a dick. And that he should learn from the mistakes that he made. From the repercussions of his actions. The worded better. From the repercussions, the consequences of his actions of sleeping with Blitz. That's what I think. But yeah, and how it would affect not only Stella but also Octavia, which we'll talk about later. All right, let's move on to Moxie. So these next two, Moxie and Millie, I think they are some of the least focused characters. Really, I mean, fucking no, not really. Moxie has like some episodes here and there, but yeah, Moxie is definitely there. That's all I really gotta say. He's definitely there. We see him how he doesn't want to be part of the mafia. The thing is with Moxie and stuff and things is that nothing that Moxie does, and I'll talk about Millie here too. Really, just to skip over Millie really quickly. Nothing that these two do, aside from Millie at the very end, but like, not really doesn't really do much. Is that nothing contributes to the plot. Nothing contributes to the plot at all. Nothing does. So yeah, it's not. I don't know. Nothing contributes. Like again, episodes 1 to 6, they don't have any relevance to the plot almost. So Moxie Mill again, any episode that they're in and try to do something, they don't do anything that relates to the plot at all. They don't advance it. Maybe they do advance, but like any development, they don't impart on Blitz or Stolas or anything like that. It's just they are here and they are given stuff, but when they are given stuff, it takes away from the narrative that the show is trying to do and trying to move along and push forward. So anything that they have, again, detracts from that, and they don't add anything to the plot. So they are, by all definitions, wasted potential, and so is Luna. So is Luna. Luna, I like that they had the they had the interaction with her in episode 2 with Octavia. That works. I think that could have really worked. Just and I like that. And I like that. The thing is that Octavia does fucking nothing in the entire show, and she is supposed to be this big part of Stolas' character. Or at least like a big part of Stolas', character. But she's in exactly 3 episodes in the entire show. Or at least I think 4. Yeah, no, she's in Mastermind. She's in 4 episodes in the entire show. I don't know what to fucking tell you. I really don't know. Oh, I forgot to talk about. Okay, wait, no. Yeah, no. So also, talk about the plot. I really do. I want to talk about the plot. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, Luna. They try to put Luna in the plot, but it all falls apart because Octavia is not part of the plot at all. Isn't part of the narrative at all. So, yeah, yikes. Yeah. Speaking of Octavia, let's talk about Octavia. Yeah, no, she's not part of the plot at all. The show, season 1 and this one, push. They put forward the idea that Stolas' decision to stay with Blitz, and that's very apparent in the finale, has upset Octavia a lot, and it's shown in 3 episodes, doesn't really get touched upon all that much, and is mainly just sort of there. Like, it's mainly just in the background when we should have really focused upon that because Octavia matters so much to Stolas and Stolas matters so much to Octavia. We should have really seen this. And this is the one time where I felt like Stolas really got what he deserved, because if Octavia doesn't agree to stay with him or doesn't forgive him. So seeing the effects that Stolas' decision made on his family and someone that he loves so much is really good, and we finally see that Stolas' decisions have consequences and they come from the people that he loves. I don't know. That's not really built upon a lot much, since again Octavia isn't really a big part of the show. All that much. So yeah, I can't really speak on that all that much, since she's not part of the show. She's pretty much almost not part of the show. She might as well not be here. But she is, and I'm gonna criticize Vizipop and Spindle Horrors in general for just kind of not doing anything with fucking plot lines. So yeah, I'll speak in the plot. Let's get into the plot. Alright, this is my main gripe with the show, and where I think this show, this season in general, goes from, okay, yeah, you had a lot of good ideas, but they really didn't fucking work, to this is a piece of ass. Complete an utter piece of ass. Like this, if you watch this, it doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work. There is almost nothing redeeming because anything that you do that's redeeming is like immediately backpedaled. That's why I think this show gets the rating it gets. But let's get into that. Okay, so the plot. What plot? What plot? Again, like I've been saying this entire fucking episode, the first 6 and it's extending to 7 technically. The first 7 episodes of the entire show are not related to the plot at all. They do not make they do not move forward the plot. It is until episode 8 that we finally episode 8 that we finally get the plot moving. And what the sort of background in season 1 tried to set up. Episode 1 was a pointless flashback episode that genuinely never comes up again. This is entirely pointless and makes Stolas a bit creepy. A bit fucking creepy. So here, like, not fucking joking. This is what happens. So Stolas and Blitz were friends since childhood, and then Blitz came into in adulthood. Blitz came into he came in to do things, but Blitz came into Stolas' room, and trying to steal the grimoire. He gets caught, and then Stolas, I guess, recognizes him from fucking 19 years before, and then and then Stolas gets mega horny after seeing Blitz for the first time in 19 years since they were kids, and he decides to try and fuck him. And then Blitz just kind of goes with it because he wants to get the grimoire. See, this could be his ticket to getting it. And yeah, no. Again, these guys haven't met since they were children, and Stolas gets immediately horny because he thinks that Blitz is trying to fuck him. And that's never brought up ever again. That just makes Stolas look a little bit more creepy. Seeing Stars at least tries to do something with Octavia. Man, I'm so sorry about the fucking dog. But yeah, again, I'm gonna go for all the fucking episodes, I guess. Seeing Stars again tries to do something with Octavia, and doesn't really go anywhere, really. Episode 3 goes nowhere. Doesn't reduce the Crimson, but he does absolutely nothing. Episode 4, we see this is a big point. That I wanna add. I wanna say. In this episode, we learn, at least Blitz learns, that Stolas can get hurt. And the Striker's after him, whatever. And Stolas in the hospital. It's a hospital, fuck. Now, where does this go? Nowhere. Nowhere. Stolas being in the hospital and all that stuff, and Blitz learning that he can be hurt goes nowhere. Again, is what I mean. There is no cohesion here, since information that is learned by characters is simply not important and doesn't come up ever again. Information that we learn and the characters learn goes nowhere. Essentially, this could have been written out. Also, episode episode 4. Episode 4. Is it episode 4? Yeah, it's episode 4. Right? Yeah. Where I think this is one of the worst episodes. I think it's this one. That Blitz's entire like side plus that he has to get Luna a vaccine, and it is the worst fucking subplot of anything I've ever seen in my goddamn life. It sucks so much goddamn ass. I cannot believe it. But then there's Unhappy Campers, which also just sucks, and we have Barbie, Blitz's sister, which goes nowhere. His sister is pretty much never mentioned before or after this, and is only sometimes seen. We never learn where she comes from, which was afterwards. She's mentioned once in a throwaway line in episode 3 of episode 3, 2, I think episode 3, Spring Broken of season 1, and that's it. And we never see her again. Oops, which is Blitz and Fizzaroli with Crimson Striker. Crimson never comes up her again, and there's pretty much no reason for being here. And it's about Blitz and Fizzaroli. And then there's episode 7, which is about Fizzaroli in general. And then never comes up her again. Like, Fizzaroli stuff, like, he has ties with Blitz and stuff, but again, this is entirely useless. So again, episodes 1 to 7 don't do anything. Like, episode 6 tries to sort of further the plot a little bit by Stolas requesting Asmodeus to give him the crystal, the Asmodean crystal. But again, not even that, almost 8, because most of 8 is focused on Cherub and Dorks hunting down Blitz, trying to shop around to have an interesting night with Stolas. To have a very different night with Stolas. But yeah, never comes up. It's bad. I don't know. Just doesn't really come up ever again. It's until this point. This point, I think, is actually a pretty good plot point. Goes into a apology tour, and it really fucked over because after that, it's like apparently Blitz already learned what he needs to do, and immediately goes into having being open about having a relationship with Stolas, even though he's said 3 episodes prior that he does not do relationships. Or episode 8. That he doesn't do relationships and doesn't want to do that. And there is almost no character growth here. I don't. And it's like again, this is not only the plot progression that's not the plot legitimately not progressing until episode 8, until the end of episode 8, by the way, but also the pacing going cattywampus after this point, with us having again 7 episodes of fucking nothing. Which is why I think that this show has this sort of identity crisis of doesn't want to explore the different citizens of hell and how the different rulers, the different sins like affect them and the effects that these higher classes have on the citizens of hell. Doesn't want to be this tragic love story between this prince that has this magic range and doesn't want to be it anymore, and an imp and this version being taboo and looked down upon. Doesn't want to be a show about assassins killing people. There is so much that it wants to do that I feel like in these first 7 episodes, it's just going that direction, and it goes fucking nowhere. And it just suffers because now there's less time for the next 5 episodes to actually pick up the pace and deliver the story that they want to develop and they decide to develop on, which was the and which was the romance. Oh, so yeah, it's just this shows an identity crisis, and also big part. This shows a lot of characters, and it's very apparent when they introduce a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters in this show, and it's very apparent when we see in the final episode, episode 11, when we see the Saga, and he's introduced as this character that we're supposed to know and such, but we don't know where he came from. We don't know if he we don't really know him. He's just kind of there. And there's a lot of characters here that are introduced, and we're meant to care about them, but they don't. But they're sort of viewed as being. But the show is kind of as displayed them as being background characters, secondary characters, tertiary characters even, and now this season is giving them the spotlight. Vastago is a big is a big part of that. Asmodeus and Fizrali are big parts of that. Beelzebub is one of them as well. Just his character that that we introduced in episode 8 of season 1, even though I don't fucking want to call it that. The final episode of season 1. Comes back here again, does nothing. Also, she does nothing to vouch for Luna, or I mean, she does for Blitz, but it goes like it's not fruitful. But I guess that's part of the whole trial. And the trial's stupid as well because apparently Stove's never notified of the trial, even though it's gonna be publicized. It was a publicized. It was being televised live, and these demons that made a very big crime, and and Stowe's never found out, even though the trial's about him, and was never notified, and nobody notified him. I guess maybe, and even though Andrelphus fed misinformation to Satan. So I don't know, just it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But yeah, there's so many characters in here that's kind of hard to keep track of, and also, again, they take over from the plot, and they take away from characters that do deserve it, like Millie. Millie hasn't gotten fucking anything. We found out that she's pregnant in the final episode, and hopefully that means that we get something for her in season 3. Yes, it's gonna be season 3, but yeah, the plot really falters because there's no progression, there is no pace, there's no setup for pretty much anything that happens, and when there is setup, it doesn't go anywhere. When it does try to set up things, it doesn't set up anything. It gives not enough time to its main characters to really develop. Everything I talked about in the character-wise with Blitz and Stolas happened in the last 5 episodes of the show, pretty much. The last 5 episodes. That is insane. That's not supposed to happen. And it's handled poorly even then. Like, no wonder it's handled poorly because it doesn't fucking matter. Like, at that point, why? At that point, why have 12 episodes of nothing? Of genuinely almost nothing. It's insane. But yeah, the plot is a complete mess. It is downright ass. Genuinely downright ass. It is. Again, I think I do think I'm right. Episodes 1 to 6 are some of the worst pieces of television I've ever seen in my goddamn life, because some of the episodes are straight up fucking ass, and they don't contribute anything to the series, so you're actually straight up wasting your goddamn time watching them. So what's the future? I want to talk about the future of this fucking series. We're getting season 3. I hope that this show gets its identity now. Like, we see how its identity of it wanting to develop this plot, and hopefully it tries to deviate away from these ideas that they want to go in. I know that it's really, really exciting to have all these different ideas they want to explore in the series, But when you have a plot like Helluva Bosses, which is very character driven, very narrative driven. Again, a character narrative driven, a character driven storyline, where the exploration of these characters is key to to uh to the whole thing. It's not recommended to do that. It's not recommended to do what Helluva Boss has done and waste 7 episodes on nothing, on like I guess world building and doing things with all the characters rather than doing what is necessary. So what I want for season 3 is to focus more on the characters that we have now, the main characters, and the characters that didn't get enough development. Millie, Moxie's got some stuff, but like specifically Bliss and Stolas, now that they're living together, especially what Stolas thinks now that he isn't an Archgoetia member or with his royalty and stuff. Moxie and Millie dealing with that. Hopefully Luna gets more characterization. Hopefully Octavia gets more shit to do. And the thing I want the most, I think it'll be better for this season, for the future of the series, less episodes. Make it more concise. Have more either have enough things for 12 episode season, or legitimately not do a 12 episode season where you waste the first half. You know? Kind of go in that direction. So yeah. Hopefully it's less episodes, but more focus on the narrative as a whole. Because I think that the episode length are not, they're not terrible. I think they're the perfect length for a show like this, and they can tell a storyline pretty well. But it's just that they have too much ideas to go off to go on and do that. It really, really hampers the series. Oh, and the writing, I completely forgot. I at a point in the series, I was like, God damn it, there's so many goddamn sex jokes. I was like, Jesus Christ, there's so many sex jokes. It is insane. But yeah, I know Boozy Pop never fucking tones it down, but tone it the fuck down, please. Right? If you want us to take this story seriously, tone it down a little. Like, you're gonna have the story revolve around like sex and stuff, but tone down the whole like talking about it, and tone down like trying to make jokes out to make jokes out of it when you're painting it as like a very serious thing that like actually affects the storyline. I don't know. But yeah, in conclusion, this show had good ideas, but ideas only take you so far when the execution is very poor. And anything you try to do good is generally anything you try to do good when you the writers of the show, anything that the writers have tried to do in the show that is actually good amounts to nothing. That docks points out of this. And when over half the show is pretty much worthless to watch, it is paced horribly in those episodes that do matter, and there's so many characters to keep track of that it takes away from the actual characters that matter. This show is a mess, and that's why it's in the F tier. Might seem a little bit harsh because I did give some compliments here and there, but this show really, 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 really showed that this is really bad. It's just not good. It's just really, really bad. I really can't give it anything else other than that. I think F is where it's best suited, because it does so much bad, and when it does good, it immediately drowns it out in horseshit. So yeah, or in dog shit, whatever. Anyways, what did you guys think about Helluva Boss Season 2? In the comments below. All of our socials in the description, and if you like this episode, and on Spotify, follow us on Spotify. if you want to see more of our episodes, rate us if you liked or disliked this episode, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe if you want to see more of our content. Like it if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. Comment and fucking comment on both platforms. Share around if you think it's worth sharing. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.